What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to the channel. Jumping right back in with the Marvel Future Fight content. We've got the updates for the weekend and the mid-month update, so we're going to take a look and jump into those. First off, data mines were absolutely 100% right, and we do have a trailer for Mystique. Let's check that out real quick. So there you have it. Essentially, if you weren't looking at it, Mystique is confirmed for her tier 4. You can see it here where the 4 pops up, and then she's looking at the dossier on the desk over here, which looks to be more indication, tier 4 access. The only reason why she can read it is tier 4. She's a tier 4. She's getting that tier 4. So I didn't think I found anything else inside the trailer to talk about, but that's it. Just Mystique getting a tier 4. And along with the data mine, there was the uniform that she has is like inspiring a little bit, because this is from her most recent Hellfire Gala outfit. It's like a play on it, basically. I really think they need to lean into those comic uniforms a whole lot more in order to kind of give updates and stuff like that to the game. Now that could be problematic because like Marvel Future Fight does, I have to rein myself in sometimes. I have to remember that Marvel Future Fight is a 9-year-old game on Marvel's platform that ain't really earning that much. Like I think I read a report from their Q3 earnings for 2023 where it was essentially like, I think they made like, off of Marvel Future Fight, they might be making maybe 500, 600K a month. And yeah, it is what it is, right? So anyways, let's take a look further, because over here on the forums, we got a little bit of the update, essentially to let you know, like, hey, this is CM Fragment, Marvel Future Fight. Agents, a new look of the mutant with powerful transformative abilities who can copy the looks, shape, and even the voice of others has been reported. Check out the new looks and powers of this supervillain who changes shape freely by manipulating her body cells and tissues. Now, this could be a really good update specifically for Mystique, because let's take a look over here inside of the window. And let's take a look at speed females. Yeah, let's start with that one. Well, let's go even more. Speed females who are super, So Mystique is listed in her BIOS as a villain, I believe it is. Yeah, she's a villain. So, she's not necessarily competing against Rogue, but as a mutant type character, that's her only competition, because the rest of these 3 characters, Key Pride has her tier 3. I never took it to tier 3 just because she's a trash character. And then you've got Domino sitting over here who's got her Transcendence. Could she possibly receive something more in when Deadpool releases, or if she's gonna even make appearance in Deadpool? We don't really know yet. But essentially in the mutant class, she doesn't have very much competition, because the mutants are all full of speed, superhero females. Rogue with her Rogue is still sitting here with her tier 4 ability as well. I haven't tier 4'd her just yet. I really do want to tier 4 her too. So she's sitting there. So you're not really like, running the gamut of, whether or not she's going to probably make up ground inside there. So even if you opened it up just a little bit and we were to say, let's just take a look at all species of supervillain females. And this is her second list of characters that she's basically competing against. I mean, realistically, none of these characters are likely to get any type of tier 4 anytime in the near future. I mean, think about how long it took for Sin to receive her comeuppance for her tier 3. That took forever and a day. Other than that, you've got Black Cat who has her tier 3, but I just don't envision. I thought she had a tier 3. Black Cat doesn't have a tier 3. Are you kidding me? I could have sworn Black Cat had a tier 3. Okay, never mind. So you're basically looking at these characters that, they're there on the board, but let's be real. Are they coming back to any of these characters? No. So this is basically like what we're seeing right now, at least from what we looked at with Cyclops, is that in this update we got 2 type support characters that are basically coming in, because essentially that's what she is. Like, I mean, this is not, this is not the leadership for anybody, right? But then you look at her passive ability that she has for her skills, and you go look at her first one and she gives the all allies. Is it the greatest support ability? No, but is it a character I think everybody will waifu up and love to see, you know, basically get that tier 4? Yeah, it's definitely there. And like I said, she doesn't really have a whole lot of competition with inside that speed type day. So this would be good for her overall, in my opinion. Next up, however, we did get a new January update sneak peek for none other than Madeline Pryor. I think a lot of us saw this coming anyways, so let's take a look at it real quick. Not a whole lot here, but so, and there you can see right inside here, Madeline Pryor, and then the T4 basically written in there, similar the same way they basically did Mystique's. So like, you know, it's, you know, basically she's sitting on the throne, and it's not necessarily a bad update in any shape, form, or regard in terms of that, but I think we kind of all expected it. But it also belays the question, why did we see her get this? Like, I can only imagine for the life of me the reason for them to not introduce Madeline Pryor as a tier 4 inside of this update directly and just made her a tier 3 is because they don't want somebody to outshine the likes of Jean Grey and Thanos. And putting her at tier 4 or being that character that gets the initial tier 4 that, you know, automatic, I think it was probably just problematic for them in that regard. So this is probably the best way they could have handled it, by saying on release she's a tier 3, in the mid-month she's a tier 4. Does, in my opinion, however, it does raise the value of this epic quest. So what I mean by that is essentially the epic quest that was in the game for Madeline Pryor, whole lot didn't make sense there in terms of why the $7,700 cost is up there, because essentially we've seen other epic quest characters, for instance, you know, like, I mean, we still don't have any of the Eternals at tier 4 realistically. If you go inside Dark Reign and you were to look at the characters here, we still got Molecule Man sitting at tier 3. We even have Sentry still sitting at tier 3. Most of these characters are Transcendence or just not of any kind of noteworthiness. If you look at like Galactic Empire and stuff like that, the only person from here who's basically tier 4, actually, excuse me, I lied. Nobody from here is tier 4 at all. Like, we still got him, and I mean, Richard Rider, Jesus Christ, I really love this character. I'm waiting for them to come back to my man and give him his tier 3 for freaking ever, but I won't even be able to use him at this point in the game because there's going to be a whole lot of male superheroes that be on him. But you get the point, is that inside of here, you know, there's nobody here, but now we got the Star-Lord inside of here. So Star-Lord is tier 4 inside there, but that wasn't immediate on demand, right? The same by extension exists for, you know, here inside Rule of Latveria and so forth. You get all these characters that basically ostensibly you're sitting at tier 3 with X-Force, with Rise of the X-Men. All of those characters, like even Jean, took a minute for her to basically receive that tier 4 rating. It wasn't an immediate on-demand thing. Basically, you know, depending on how you look at this, you're still looking at a character now who in the Goblin Queen is basically tier 4. You know, like, this is tier 4 on demand. And let's be honest with you, it's a very good kit, and you're going to want this character. Like, I mean, in terms of you playing this character for PvP, that's where this is going to matter the most, is PvP. Be clear about that. She is not a PvE type character. I think this is where she's going to shine the most. Like, these skills that she has inside of here for PvE are not for PvE. I don't even think that, like, the way some of her skills are built, that you essentially make these work inside of PvE at all. It just doesn't feel that way. You would have to do a whole lot in order to make them work. This is a PvP character, so if you're looking for a blast type female character for PvP, she's probably going to be there for you. And this is going to be great because she's a tier 4. So I think they should have probably just done that at the very beginning and found a way around making her a native tier 4. But that, to me, it does raise the value of the pack, because you have a character who is being introduced to the game, who is pretty much within the update block window of her release, being tier 4. So in that regard, I can understand the raise in cost. It is still a very expensive update because, you know, you still have the likes of Rachel Summers that maybe some people don't have, that they end up having to pay crystals for. You still have the likes of Exodus, who they just did dirty. It would have been great if they would have just gave him his tier 3, because then you would have had the justification there behind the window to basically say, hey, you know what, maybe even introducing something like a free-to-play version uniform for Cyclops would have been good. But essentially, that's what you're looking for inside of here. So let's take a look over on the forum boards, what they've got here. This is going to be the last update of the month, because you can see it says here, the supervillain with powerful psionic abilities and the ability to change reality has become even stronger through her connection with the hellish dimension of Limbo. Check out the new powers of this supervillain, who is full of hatred and anger due to her despair. We will announce more information through the patch details later. So she's probably most likely not receiving any type of uniform, but she is getting that tier 4, which is pretty decent in terms of value to the epic quest. I do believe that this adds value to the epic quest, that you're basically unlocking a tier 4 character on demand. So it you know, over time is probably going to lose value, but all things like that lose their time over time. You know, but like at this moment in the game, for your veterans and players that are looking to unlock Madeline Pryor, you essentially have to say you're getting access to a tier 4 character at that 7,700 crystal price. That's my idea. Yes, if I go unlock Jeans right now, I'm getting access to a tier 4 character without a doubt, but the difference is that this is now. I'm getting it now. So let's take a look inside the team though, because it does matter, you know, where this character is going to sit. So she is a blast supervillain female. We'll take a look at this, the mutant class inside here, and you can see she all but stands alone. So it's not like there are blast supervillain females in here. Now you could go back to some of Jean's old uniforms, and I do believe like she has blast type uniforms. I'll pull that up in a second. But you basically have a very big niche that she fills as a blast supervillain female that is a mutant. Now, if you go out and you look even deeper at the or open it up rather, even to the blast type super villain female list, there's just not a lot there for her to compete against either, with just having Enchantress and freaking so she's sitting pretty as like a character that you would need essentially for this for that, you know, archetype inside the game. So hate to say it, you know, like I know we all made our judgments and stuff like that to begin with, and I think those judgments are still valid, but you do have to look at the space in which she's operating in now, especially within the 1 month of update, to say that you are unlocking a T4 blast female supervillain who is going to fill a niche inside the game, and this makes her value even higher. I'm still highly pissed off about Exodus and the fact that he's there. I'm still not very happy with Hope. Cool that Havoc was introduced as a tier 4, and I think plenty of people have reasons to still be pissed off that Scott is sitting at you know, a snap dab new freaking, you know, tier 4 without a uniform. But it seems like it's done basically because, you know, they're starting to bolster all of the support type characters in the game, instead of the focal point being all of the DPS type characters. And Rachel is still a very expensive update for most players in the game as well. So it is what it is. However, I do believe that there is some increased value there with Madeline Pryor. Now, if you're going to take Madeline Pryor to tier 4, and this is going to incentivize you to basically make sure that you get Madeline Pryor, be sure that you, inside the new event that's going on with the event shop, that you actually go over here and make sure that you all but purchase this tier 4, the 4-star selector, where Madeline Pryor is sitting there with Identity Crisis. Otherwise, you basically tier 4 a character who has a role inside PvP that doesn't give the full you know, weight to it. So the fact that this is sitting inside of here as a viable option for you to purchase, that also raises the value, because now you can get a somewhat complete. Are you going to get the 6-star, you know, artifact and stuff like that? No, not necessarily, but it's sitting inside the queue right there for you to have. And I think that overall weights the value of that character very, very highly. So I would just contemplate that going forward. Like, yeah, I'm still pissed off about Exodus. And to be honest with you, I'm still pissed off about the update overall, which is why I haven't just run through and gotten him upgraded for this. But I am incentivized a little bit more at this point to basically say to players, yeah, you might want to dig into that Madeline Pryor spool, especially now that we've got the new Otherworld battle, for instance, the new week for Otherworld battle. And you're going to probably, I think we're going to probably end up seeing more of these Otherworld battles where the debuff characters, for instance, is like, look at the debuff character list. If you don't believe that they were trying to incentivize you to purchase that update and get Madeline Pryor, I mean, everybody is basically, you know, debuffed inside here. All of your characters that you would basically normally have sitting in the queue for your PvP squad are basically debuffed this week, with the exception obviously of Madeline Pryor. And you notice here superhero characters basic damage taken is increased, so you're obviously going to want to put a Madeline Pryor on this team so that way you can meet those. So just the thought process, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time, peace.